Hi guys, I want to talk to you about car adverts and why I think the golden era of car adverts may have passed us by, sadly, because I don't know about you, but I'm not feeling very inspired by what I see these days, and I'll explain exactly what I mean right after this.
A brown car guy. Brown car guy.
Yeah, car adverts. You know, I mean, these were the things that used to really inspire us. These are the things that the 30 seconds to 1 minute role that would come on TV or movies or whatever that would get you going and go, right, you know what, I want that car because it is awesome, you know. And when you go back, if you just have nothing to do, you sit on YouTube and you start searching for classic car adverts, you'll see some incredible examples of really funny, captivating and exciting car adverts, some of which are probably no longer politically correct, but you know, different times. But you know, that's the nature of these things. But these days, it's not so interesting. So take, for example, you know, this Mercedes advert. This is a Mercedes EQS. I'll put it up on the screen here and you can see it. You don't need to listen to the sound. There's no sound. And what is it doing? This thing is just floating down from the heavens. Is it coming in from outer space? Is it landing? Is it doing anything that the car actually should do? And what is this lady doing? I mean, why is she even there? You know, is she directing it? Is she making this happen? And then it just lands gently, you know, with a stylistic thud on the ground, and there it is. There's the car for you. Wow.
What? I'm so bored, dude.
Now I want to show you this one. This is the Mercedes S-Class, the W140 arrival. Now this wasn't actually the best Mercedes S-Class, to be honest. The one before this, the 80s S-Class, is still the best S-Class. And to be honest, this S-Class wasn't even that well received. However, if you saw this advert, you definitely wanted one. And you'll see what I mean after you watch this. I mean, oh, going sideways. This is a big luxury saloon. This is what this car is meant to be. It's to chauffeur people around. It's a big executive bar. Look at it. Look at it. Side to side. Speed. Moment. Look at that. It's drifting. It's jumping. It's rallying. This is your executive luxury car. This is absolutely bonkers, but it's just ferocious. It's speed. It's momentum. It's 360 on the motorway. Would you ever do that in a Mercedes while you got, you know, the boss sitting in the back just riding along comfortably? So it's absolutely nuts. But I'll tell you what, you know, whether that was a good example of an S-Class or not, but there's no question that that was a very exciting ad. And you went, oh gosh, you know, I want one of those. And two things that ad demonstrated. Obviously, one aspect of that ad was the fact that, you know, it was a solid, the Mercedes S-Class is a solid, robust car that you can beat the crap out of and it'll still be fine. You can still take the boss to work on Monday morning if you spend the weekend doing that. And secondly, speed and excitement and exhilaration and, you know, the way it moves, the way it thunders, the way it slides, all of this stuff. You watch it, you're captivated, you're excited, the music builds to a crescendo and you're like, yeah, I want an S-Class. You know, that's what that is doing. So what's happened? Why do we have these dull floating adverts now compared to utter excitement of something like that? Well, it's all down to the ASA. And let me give you an example of what that is. So first of all, ASA, what is the ASA? The ASA is the Advertising Standards Authority, and they basically write the rules on advertising, pretty much. And they have a whole section for motoring. It's section number 20 if you want to go and look for it. So if you go to the ASA website, if you go into the broadcast, the code section, it's number 20. And that covers motoring, and automotive actually. And this is how it actually starts. This is how the page starts. And I'm going to read it. I'm going to read one rule in particular because I think it's particularly pertinent to what we're talking about. But just to see how the actual page, where it starts. Principle. Advertisements should not contribute to a culture of dangerous, irresponsible, or inconsiderate driving or motorcycling, especially among young drivers. Now, okay, yes, I mean, nobody wants to encourage that sort of thing. That's true. But it's an advert. You know, it's fantasy. It's like a mini movie. That's what, you know, that's what they're meant to be, right? Motoring advertisements are broadcast advertisements for vehicles or other automotive products, for example, tires, fuel, car accessories. These rules do not apply to public service advertisements about road safety. So it doesn't apply about road safety, so then why the emphasis on road safety? But anyway, also how to kill the mood. God. Okay, so rules. I want to. There are several. We have actually got 5 of them, and they pretty much all end up saying the same thing. So what I'm going to do is I'll just read the first one, because the others are pretty much variations on the same thing. So the first one is should I read the first one, or I'll read 2 of them actually, because I think this one is also interesting. So I'll read the first one. Advertisements must not condone or encourage dangerous, competitive, inconsiderate or irresponsible driving or motorcycling. Advertisements must not suggest that driving or motorcycling safely is staid or boring. But it is. It's a good thing to do. It's a common sense thing to do. It's the right thing to do. But yeah, it's not, I've been driving for a very long time. That's not the exciting part of driving. I'll read out, that was 20.1. The others are pretty much variations on the same. 20.4, we'll just read that one out as well. Motoring advertisements must not refer to speed in a way that might condone or encourage dangerous, competitive, inconsiderate or irresponsible driving or motorcycling. Factual statements about a vehicle's speed or acceleration are permissible, but must not be presented or as a reason for preferring the advertised vehicle. Speed or acceleration claims must not be the main selling message of an advertisement. So what do you do with sports cars then? This is why you don't see these supercar adverts, right? I mean, even look at that Mercedes advert, the S-Class or the W140. I mean, that's not a sports car. That's a luxury saloon. That's not meant to do the stuff that they were doing. But they turned that up to 10, by just showing that what that car could do. And I think that was the point. It's like, the whole point with adverts like that was that they got you pumped, they got you excited, but that didn't mean that you went out and you bought that big old S-Class saloon and then you proceeded to do that stuff with it. Not unless you're a precision driver or a stunt driver or a racing driver. You would still just drive that around in a sedate manner, going to the office or going to work or, running your companies or whatever. That's what you would do with it. You wouldn't do what that advert was showing that you could do with it. That wasn't the point of the advert. The point of the advert was to get you excited. And I don't see anything wrong with that. And unfortunately, this, I think, leads to a wider problem in why we have a generation that is kind of apathetic, or they don't really care about cars. And I think that because the excitement isn't there, the enthusiasm. I mean, let's be honest, like for me, when people say, where did it all come from? They were interested, your passion and your excitement for cars. And it did come from pop culture. It came from TV, it came from movies. These are the things that really inspired me. So, and part of that was to see these cars in action, to see what they could do, to see what they were like on the limit, to see them cornering on the door handles, to see them burning rubber, to see them going sideways. This is the stuff that got me excited. This is the stuff that really got me inspired and into cars. And I think that if you have and you even got that in adverts. So I think that what the point is, I remember the famous Montego advert by Russ Swift. Was the driver. He got famous from the advert where I think it was an MG Montego, and he comes into the car park and he sees a car parking space way over on the other side, and for no reason he races around this car park, and then he handbrake, turns and slides directly into that slot, and everybody went, yes! It's just awesome. But that's what gets you. That doesn't mean that everybody did that. Nobody actually, there might have been 1 or 2 nutters, but most people did not try and do that, right? And that's the problem. And I think that we have a real issue now where we're failing to inspire and excite and delight and get people involved in cars, get a new generation involved in cars, precisely because we're not showing the exciting part of cars, what they can actually do. And we don't even have TV shows such as Knight Rider and stuff like that, Dukes of Hazzard, where every show you'd have 2 or 3 jumps in it. Knight Rider, you'd have jumps in it, you'd have turbo boost, you'd have, the car would do a spin, all this. Chips, you would have California Highway Patrol chips, you would always have car crashes and cars and that. know, it was just always exciting stuff, but you know, you just don't get much of that anymore. And I think this is part of the problem that we're having, you know, contributing to the malaise around motoring, if you like. So this is where movies still are an important part of car culture, and you know, things like, you know, the Fast and Furious franchise, as much as we love to hate it or whatever, you know, and they're hit and miss, but the core of it, they're still emphasizing the cars. They still always bring cool cars into that for some reason or another. They'll always find something cool and just drop it into the middle of that movie, and you'll be like, whoa, you know, and they'll put it through its paces. So you'll be like, wow, you know. So you know, we still got to applaud and cherish the fact that there are still movies like that, and hopefully there should be more. But yeah, I mean, this is a real ASA. Wow. Anyway, that's my opinion. That's just my opinion. Those are just my thoughts. I'd love to know what you think about that, and I'd love to hear your comments below.
Brown car guy.
Hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please hit the like button and share this video as well if you can. And while you're at it, check out these guys who also sponsor my content. I am deeply grateful to them because it helps me to buy new equipment, put fuel in the cars, and yes, buy a cup of coffee. You can do the same. Just go here or right here on YouTube. Just hit these 3 little dots down here and click on thanks. Make sure you're signed in first. My content is free, but this is how you can help me keep it that way. I may even send you a gift. Oh, by the way, watch this next.